What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor Darth Joker with this week's review. And this week, with the recent Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer at Nintendo Direct, yeah, who thought Nintendo would be the ones that come in the clutch for us there? Yeah, thanks Sony and Microsoft. You know, but yeah, so with this, with what has been shown in the two trailers we've gotten, I mean, I think there's gonna be more this year. But before those hypothetical trailers come out, I'm going to give my predictions for Kingdom Hearts 4. And if I'm right, oh, great. If I'm wrong, great, because I expect it to be good, the game to be good, regardless of if my predictions are right or wrong. So I'm going to give my predictions about playable characters, what worlds, and any potential DLC. So with all that being said, on with the video. First, I'm going to say who I think all the playable characters will be in the main story of Kingdom Hearts 4. Obviously, one of the playable characters is going to be Sora. I mean, just from the trailers, and he's the main character of the franchise, so it's pretty obvious. Now, Sora's main goal, he'll be exploring unreality, you know, trying to figure out how he got there, trying to figure out how to escape. Worlds he'll go to will be based off fictional franchises and universe, and he'll go to worlds from erased timelines. And I think this will be how Missing Link will be repurposed. Like, assuming we don't get like a TV show or console remake, of an unreleased game, which we should, but besides the point. I think stuff will be repurposed in this game. Now, I think his main allies in this will be Strelitzia, Luxord, Yozora, Magia, Aegis, Xehanort, and Volley. Xehanort will probably take some get used to for him. He'll probably have to learn to trust him. Even then, may not be 100%. Luxord, kind of as well. Yozora, he probably wouldn't trust. You're saying with Magi and Aegis since they're with Yuzora. Volley, I mean, who knows why Volley's there? Sigurd, like, I mean, I don't necessarily say if Sigurd's a ally just based off the trailer. Now, I think part of some of his abilities, so I think the new like build mechanic, that holds all those attacks from that associated with these Keyblade, and then summons. I think those will both involve the power of imagination, since a lot of since I think a realm of imagination is part of unreality. I think the power of imagination will come in handy. And since Sora is from reality, he can have that kind of power, similar to like Kevin Flynn using his user powers in the grid. Now, before anyone asks, the reason Sora doesn't use user powers in the grid is because he sucks at computers. But he probably would be good at imagination, so this would be up his wheelhouse. Now, Riku, I think, would be another playable character, just mainly due to the secret ending of Kingdom Hearts 3, showing Riku and Quadratum, and showing like Sora one area, Riku in another, kind of hinted that they were going to be part of whatever's next. And I think Riku's main missions will involve, searching for the Book of Prophecies, and search for different versions of the afterlife and worlds that Sora has traveled to in order to find clues to his location and figure out why the Kingdom Key didn't choose a new wielder after Sora's apparent death. Because I would say if Sora is dead, probably a lot of Guardians will assume that the Kingdom Key, which chooses a wielder, would choose its new wielder, like whoever it ends up being. But since it didn't happen, everyone's like, alright, what's going on? And that probably would lead to the whole search for Sora. And I think he'd be trying to find the black box, figure out why Maleficent and Pete are interested in it, figure out what's in it. And I think he'll be trying to find the three remaining members of the Deuce Seven Hearts because we've identified four of them: Kyrie, Anna, Elsa, and Rapunzel. There's three left. I was kind of thinking for a little bit that like they may wait till like a later game to reveal who those three are, who the remaining three are, just because maybe Square wants the main focus of this game to be on the book, like the Book of Prophecies, the Black Box, and Sora. But I'm thinking, does it really make sense for the characters to go a whole year without trying to find the Princesses of Heart? Probably not. So I do think that will be part of Riku's goal. And since, in Chain of Memories, he learned how to use sense, like the smell of people, to like so like he was able to like he could smell darkness and he could probably smell light as well. So maybe it makes sense for Riku to be the one to like use the scent of light to find the princess, like the remaining like princesses. Yes, it does sound weird that he's basically using smell to find people because basically be like since Kyrie's a Prince of Heart, they probably smell like Kyrie. As weird as that sounds, but I mean, let's be real. Riku's idea of an insult was when like he told Ansem, "You just stink." But anyway, like it'd be kind of like with Wolverine, in X-Men, how like Wolverine could like distinguish between people by scent. Riku's gonna do something like that. And I think for all of his missions, like for the Book of Prophecies, Black Box, and the New Seven Hearts, I think Braig will be someone that he'll be trying to fight because Braig's MIA as far as like the Guardians of Light are and their allies are concerned. I mean, obviously we know he's Lushu. He's a vessel for Lushu. We don't know where they don't know where he's at. So since he was Xehanor's closest confidant, and he was the one who sent Luxor to find the black box, he would have an idea of like a lot of things, you know. And as far as the princes are concerned, maybe Isa has some intel just from him being part of Xehanor's inner circle. And once the game gets to the post Melody of Memory portion, Riku's main mission will be searching Quadram for Sora. King Mickey Mouse. So there were some images shown like a little while ago that showed Mickey like being playable in what looked like Scala ad Kylum. And so I think Mickey will be playable based on those images and based on what he does a lot of traveling. So I think what he'll be doing is Donald and Goofy, who will be his two main party members, will go to worlds that Sora has traveled to try and find clues of his location. And they'll have some their own little adventures there. Like you could say it'd be kind of like a villain of the week type story, but the common thread being like they're trying to find clues to Sora's location. And then the portion that takes place after Melody Memory, he'll be in Scarlet Kylum trying to find clues on reality, which will be basically like what we saw in those images. Now for the worlds that I think will be in Kingdom Hearts 4. First off, the ones for Sora's story. Quadram, I mean that's just obvious, just from the trailers. We've seen him in Quadratum. So I mean, obviously, this video where Verum Rex takes place, so we'll get clues, I think, to what the story of Verum Rex is. It'll be like the main hub world for Sora, where he'll deal with like a lot of the characters that'll be like his major allies, and yeah, it'll probably be a very fun world. The final world. Now I think this will appear, don't necessarily think it'll be like one that Sora could just travel freely around a lot. How I think this will be used is it'll probably be like maybe a cutscene or something. Maybe that takes place before Sora Rise of Quadron, maybe of showing him in the final world. But I think we'll also see his perspective of the Kyrie versus Xehanort fight in Melding a Memory. So when Sora sends some of his power to help Kyrie against that memory Xehanort, um, I think we'll see Sora's perspective that, and the final world will appear in that way. And if Sora does leave Unreality for Reality and Kingdom Hearts 4, he likely will pass through the final world to get there. Wreck-It Ralph worlds. So this is due to Union Cross, with the late worlds revolving around Wreck-It Ralph, that movie. Now where not these the these movies will be a stand these worlds will then be a standalone story, or if they'll do Ralph Breaks the Internet. Don't know. I think it'd be a original story. So then you'll see Sora going those, and if my theory about Sora being a reincarnation of the player is correct, this will help hint at that, help lead into that reveal, and with Ralph being a summon character for Sora in Kingdom Hearts 3, I think this will help explain how he was able to summon him, even though he had never met Ralph before. You know, and yeah, it could be some fun worlds with this. Scala at Kylum slash Daybreak Town. So, Scala Kylum was built on the ruins of Daybreak Town. And so this is where I think a lot of the repurposed missing link stuff will be used. Where you'll see Sora see that, and in the case of missing link and with you and Cross, he'll see his past lives. Events, and that will help lead to the reveal of him being a reincarnation of the player. And so and it's probably where lots of regarding Sigurd and Volley, who and Xehanort, who were shown in the recent trailer, you know, and of course Sigurd's voice was heard in in the first trailer, and with the Lost Masters with their roles, and Subject X likely as well. You'll see a lot. Sora will learn about a lot of their stories, and so this will help connect the key saga stuff to the present day stuff. And so yeah, we'll see and you'll make some Dark Road stuff. So Sora will see a lot about those time periods. Elemental. So with that Keyblade shown in the trailer, the orange and blue one with fire and water attacks. I think that's for elemental because the water guy and the fire chick, water guy's blue, fire chick is orange, so the orange blue keyblade, and with it being fire and water attacks, it makes sense because those two I know become a couple in elemental. I never saw elemental. I don't really care to because I'm not really fan of romance movies. That's just my preference, you know. And also, as far as unreality, probably the whole elements existing that probably may fit unreality more than it fit reality. And so, and with this being a recent movie, this maybe one they'd be willing to use. And of course, Moana has been brought up as a world for that Keyblade. Now, I don't think that Keyblade's for Moana. Doesn't mean I don't think it could be used. Moana could be used where in this game or future game, but I think that Keyblade's for Elemental, so I think this movie will have a role for it for Sora to go to in unreality. Inside Out. So with both movies making a lot of money, like a ton, like yeah, I mean they both did very well. First one made between 800 and 900 million. Then Inside Out 2 made over a billion. you know, I think Kingdom Hearts would want this franchise in it. And, I mean, I've never seen these movies, so I can't say whether or not they're good or not. But as far as like how it fits within reality, unreality, I think with like characters that exist inside a person's head, that probably would fit unreality more than reality because you have to explain, wait, is Kingdom Hearts all inside someone's head? And like how it's sort of able to interact with like, the emotions or whatever. So I think that would be an unreality as like in-universe fiction. Now, where which world that fiction was written in, don't know. Well, don't I could see actually I could see like some like reality gain into that. But yeah, so I think the like this will be a world for unreality and one of the new worlds for like Sora to go to. Country of Musketeers. So this would be like a returning world. So with Dreams All Distance, you had this being shown as like why ever existed. I think it was like some imagined scenario whatever that Mickey, Donald, and Goofy had to go through, probably for some train. Like whatever vision thing Mickey was trained with in the beginning of Birth by Sleep. I think it's something like that. And since it was imagined, I think it's in the realm of imagination, unreality. So I think Sora will come across this world, and he'll meet Mickey, Donald, and Goofy again. Star Wars. I mean, with the trailers, you have the Forest place that hints at like a lot of people believe hints at Endor from Return of the Jedi. Star Wars it makes sense, and I think a Star Wars world fits with unreality better than reality because you have the Force. I mean, with like Kingdom Hearts and the Force and Exit both being real, there could be some lore issues that could appear with that. So I think it makes sense for it to be unreality, and also with it being unreality, you have room to deal with multiple eras. So prequel era, original trilogy era. I would say ignore the Disney stuff. To just do like original trilogy and prequel trilogy. Like I would say ignore the Disney stuff right now. Let's you know soon Star Wars is dead. And you'll be cool. And with the rumored 2027 release, if that happens, it'd be cool to see Kingdom Hearts get a Star Wars world in the year that Star Wars is celebrating its 50th anniversary. That'd be freaking cool. And dude, a lightsaber keyblade would be freaking awesome. Like I think like what would be a cool thing is if you like you could change colors of like the light. So you have for Sora like you could choose between green, blue, purple, maybe yellow, and like some other colors. Now, red, I think red should be reserved for Sora and is like his, anti form, heartless form, whatever. You know, rage form. You know, I think that would be a color that could be when Sora goes into like the rage form, which we haven't seen in trailers, but it's probably coming back. When Sora goes in that, if he has that Keyblade, it could it turns red automatically because it's darkness, and that'd be a cool thing to show. So yeah, I think there's a lot of fun things you could do with like Star Wars worlds. Marvel. So this would be one where there would be lore issues if you have this in reality. I think unreality would work better. And you could have multiple time periods whenever Marvel stuff's taking place to do, and it could be MCU, could be um the comics, some of the cartoon shows, maybe some of the old movies like the Fox X-Men, whatever. Now, I imagine characters like Spider-Man and Hulk would have to be excluded because in the case of Spider-Man, he's owned by Sony. Hulk, he's owned by Universal. Like that's why we haven't gotten a Hulk movie because of whatever negotiations between Disney and Universal haven't been able to get us a Hulk movie since the 2008 one with Edward Norton, who was better than Mark Ruffalo. Um, yeah, so now they could do MCU, they could do like comics, some of the old cartoons, um, some of the other movies like Fox X Men, or they just do a complete original Marvel story with like the characters they're allowed to use. It could be interesting things you could do with this, like, and like I think it could be fun, like to have some of like the Avengers as like party members. 100 Acre Wood. So in reality, 100 Acre Wood exists inside a book, so someone had to imagine it when writing the book. And I think that would lead to a realm of imagination version of it existing. And I think Sora will go there, and so in Kingdom Hearts 3, who had like briefly forgotten Sora, like the connection was weaker, but like it didn't really seem to not really happen with anyone else Sora had met, like any of the other Sora's old friends they met in like Kingdom Hearts 3. So like, but it was only brought with Pooh, so maybe something regarding like something with like unreality with the real imagination, maybe that could tie into that. And so so this would be like one like I don't know if there would be like Heartless here, but like it'd be like one of the returning worlds for Sora to like go to. Toy Story World, but I don't think it's Toy Box. I think it'd be like so, Andy when playing with the toys in the movies, he would imagine stories with them. With Toy Story 3 having that famous intro scene, I think that could be a world to go to. And since, with this being imagination, with Verum Rex, I think with Verum Rex being the game inside of Toy Box, I think an imagined version of like Toy Story characters could appear in like unreality. And so you could have like Sora going through that whole like scenario, which could be fun. So some Tron worlds I think could appear. Now this would be like I would say based off the video games that Kevin Flynn made, you know, in the movie. So like Space Paranoids and Light Cycle, stuff like that. So basically because in the Tron movies you had Kevin Flynn made those games, and some of the stuff in the grids were based off of that, and so I think those games could appear as imagined worlds in like Cage 4 with the old Verum Rex appearing as an imagined world in unreality. And so Sora comes across Tron again, see how that all goes. Yeah, it could be interesting to see. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit World. Now this is where you could get some other like the alternate like the previously existing timeline stuff where just like a timeline where um Oswald was keen instead of Mickey, or like it's just an event in the past where Oswald was like maybe expected to be in charge, but then Mickey was in charge. Or maybe Oswald was like a Keyblade wielder along with Mickey, and something happened, he disappeared. Maybe he did something like Sora did, and ended up trapped in unreality. And like his world is later shown in the game of what happened. And that could be interesting, and I say that would increase the demand for a Mickey game. So yeah, I think Oswald Lucky Rabbit, his world will make an appearance. Figment. So, this is you know, if I say a world for this character, like, so obviously people who are aware of Figment, he's like basically kind of like a mascot for the Imagination Pavilion at Epcot in the theme parks. And we know Disney's, with the attraction flow, some of those a lot of those were based off of Disney theme park rides. So we know Square Enix is interested in doing and using theme park stuff. So kind of makes sense they would be interested in using a theme park attraction as inspiration for a world. And since I think a realm of imagination is involved with unreality, I think it makes sense to have the figment of imagination appear. And with there was a movie in development. Um, I don't know the state of that is. Like I don't know like what the state of that project is. But if a world, I would say if a world with Figment is used, it would increase demand for that movie. And I think, I just, big reason why I think because he's the Figment of Imagination. Now Figment could appear in various ways. It could be his own individual world. It could be, let's say within like, an alternate version of like Disney Castle, whatever. Like or like basically was imagined by someone in Disney Castle, whatever, or someone in like Hall Bastion, Rain Garden, whatever. Like there are ways you could have a Figment world. Like I think it could be very interesting to see Sora interact with Figment. Now for the worlds in Riku's story. Quadratum. I mean, I think this would be one of like the later worlds. You know, probably like maybe like Riku's like last world, like where he meets up with Yuzora and then Sora, then whatever all happens there. And so yeah, I think it's be near the end. It'd be kind of separate from the world map, like so like the whatever world map Riku has, it would be separate from that. And so I think it'd be interesting to see how Riku deals with unreality, like where he shows some abilities that Sora has, how he'll react when he sees Sora. That could be interesting to see. The final world. Now I don't think this would be like some big world. It could be, I think it would more be like either like a cutscene only thing, like if they do like a version of like the cutscene from Melody of Memory in this for Riku's story, or like if it's playable, it would be like a bear about like just a pathway from Quadratum to I would say like Radiant Garden, because that's where Riku and Kairi entered the fallen world at. So like it could be just something Riku just walks through to get to bit from reality to unreality, to enter, yeah, so I don't think this would be a big world. It would just be a small thing. So you could may say maybe it doesn't count, but I think it would apply here as like quote a world in that since it'll at least appear in Riku's story, I think. That's the islands. I mean, look, this is Riku's home world. Obviously, he's gonna go here. This is probably where his story's gonna start. Makes sense. You know, before like he goes to like on his like journey, whatever. And yeah, this would be like a small world. Like obviously you have the island, then you have the little village that we've never been able to explore. Maybe we'll actually be able to explore it this time. And maybe see like how other characters react to Sora being gone. Which man, that could be some emotional stuff if they actually do that. The Keyblade Graveyard. I mean, this just makes sense for Riku to look at. I mean, it's where Keyblade viewers go to make their mark on fate. It's a literal graveyard for Keyblade wielders. Obviously, it's from the Keyblade War, and with Sora like doing the whole thing with him like interacting with the lights of the past. Maybe Riku would think, maybe the graveyard's a good place to look, and it would obviously bring a lot of painful memories for him being there. Now, I don't think this be like a long level, because I mean, look, it's a wasteland. I don't think there'd be much to do there. So I think this would be like kind of like a shorter level to go there. Maybe fight some Heartless, maybe some Nobodies. and like find nothing, and well, he leaves. Disney Town. Now it probably could just be Disney Castle. And I think this would be like one of a small area. It wouldn't be like a big combat area because the core still light and all that, and you don't really have Vanitas any like unversed or whatever. So yeah, so I don't think this would be like a combat world. Probably wouldn't be big. You just like probably one go around, maybe talk to like Chip and Dale, Minnie, Daisy, where, and maybe I'll upgrade the gummy ship or something because Chip and Dale are gummy ship engineers. You know, if Riku uses a gummy ship. And so, like, this is like a small hub world, not really one you could travel around a lot. Twilight Town. Now with you know, Roxas, Shion, Lee, Aiza, Nominate living there and them doing their stuff, Riku probably may visit them sometimes. And so, I mean, obviously those characters, along with Hair Pencilette, with all in minor roles. I think they would like they probably at least be visitable. And like there probably wouldn't be a lot to explore. Probably, a lot would be centered around the old mansion. I don't know if there would be too much exploration. Like it'd probably be around the same size that Kingdom Hearts 3 had Twilight Town, which I know is one of the criticisms people had of Twilight Town's inclusion, and I kind of agree with that criticism. But like, I don't think there's be a lot to here. It'd be kind of almost like a hub world. Radiant Garden. Now with Kyrie being here, being with Ants from the Wise and his apprentice doing all their stuff. I think Riku obviously will travel, and with what we saw in Melody and Memory and Limit Cut, I think definitely Riku's going to be able to travel here now. And I think this will actually be a fully playable world. This won't be like a tiny section, whatever. I think you'll actually have like the full town and everything. Now, I don't know if it'll like more resemble a Birth by Sleep or Kingdom Hearts 2 or like something, I don't know, in the middle, whatever. Like, I think we'll see, like, this will be a fully playable world, I think. And also, Maleficent and Pete still being around. You know, they be, Riku probably having to deal with that. And so, yeah, there's like, and with all the stuff here, there's probably a lot of fun stuff you could do, like, in this world. Land departure. So, with Aqua, Terravan, and Chirithy being here, this will just be a small world to visit. There isn't a lot of exploration. I mean, basically, because with Cham Mary's, you have that big grassy area outside of it. That's like probably where most of the exploration would be. But I think it'll mostly just be kind of like with Birth by Sleep, how small it was. I think it would be basically focus around that. Like, just be a small area, visit those characters, and like, I don't know, maybe do some training, whatever. But outside of that, I think it'll just be one they could, like, Rick could just be able to visit. There wouldn't be a lot going on there. There'll probably be Heartless around, like maybe nobody's as well, but like I don't think there would be a lot to like do here. So it'd be a small world. Sirius Tower. I mean, Yensid lives here, so obviously this would be a world Riku would go to. This would be like the hub world for the Guardians of Light. It's kind of like I guess where they recap stuff. So like this, there's basically a few areas to go to. So I think this would be like a small world Riku could travel to briefly. Or maybe it's a cutscene only one. Who knows? But like it should be a small one if playable. Toy box. So Verum Rex is, from Toy Box, so it makes sense for, this world to appear in some form or fashion. And with the Book of Prophecies being used to make the duplicate Toy Box, Riku will probably go here to try and find clue to its location. And so we'll see like, Riku go around here and you'll probably will see maybe some of the other toys and we'll see how like Woody, Buzz, and all them like they explain how they got back, or at least they may not know how they got back to their world because they don't really know how they got to the duplicate. And so like yeah, we'll see Riku go around this world, fight some Heartless, whatever, and we'll see. And be interesting to see how like what all happens, like with like in this world, like how Riku react to being a toy. That could actually be kind of funny. Olympus. So with the two trailers hinting at Hades appearing, with like probably capturing Donald and Goofy, using like his blue fireware. So I think the underworld will definitely appear, and I think Riku will go here because it's the underworld's like an afterlife area, so it makes sense for the underworld to appear. And also another thing, Hades was part of Maleficent's like little inner circle, and so Riku probably go here to get clues on where where the black box could be, or or the Book of Prophecies. And maybe Hayes will tell Riku what he told Maleficent about Pandora's box, and maybe Pandora's box could be MacGuffin in this world. And so we'll see how like that goes. And yeah, maybe Riku fights in a tournament. Halloween Town. So like with you have like in Halloween Town you have like the ghosts and all that stuff. You have like dead characters. Like they're actually dead. Like I mean the main guy's a skeleton. Like a skeleton. I mean he's a so I mean, this would be a world thing Riku would travel to, and like maybe have him Riku beat Santa Claus, and like maybe discuss how Riku didn't stop believing Santa Claus and led Sora to not believe Santa Claus. Like that could be an interesting thing to see, and like and of course with Santa traveling around worlds to deliver presents, you know Riku probably would want to go to meet Santa to see if he has an idea where Sora is at, and Santa wouldn't know. So yeah, this would be a intro for Riku to go to. We have to see how he's designed for Halloween Town. Pride Lands. So with them, the whole cloud thing with Mufasa, there's definitely something with the afterlife there. So that would pique Riku's interest in going to that world. And as far as villains go, so Gar could be alive because so in Kingdom Hearts 2, Pete said that Scar turned to a Heartless, and so you had the Scar Ghost in the second level for Pride Lands. Now, for that, it is possible that the Scar fight in the first level could have been a nobody, and the Scar Ghost could have been his Heartless being like empowered by the power of darkness, or maybe by the organization, whatever. And then Scar could be recomplete, so he returns as like a villain in this, you know. And as far as I think Pride Lands was one of the world's rumored for missing link, so that could help tie missing link to Kingdom Hearts 4 to have like Pride Lands make an appearance. Like there to be some references to what events happened there. Neverland. So the main reason I think this will be used is well, Captain Hook's still alive. So with Maleficent being interested in the Book of Prophecies, well, and the black box. Riku probably would try to go there, see if Hook has heard some things about Maleficent you know, in like the past year or two, whatever. Now Hook probably wouldn't know anything. So, but I think this would be a world. And also with Riku having done it like what he did in Kingdom Hearts 1, he would like also like a tour of like repentance. He would go here, maybe apologize to Peter Pan, Wendy if she appears, and like you know we'll see him chow around, and you'll learn to fly and all that. Moana. So I think Moana is one of the new Seven Hearts, and it's possible for that to be wait. They may wait for another game to do this. I think logically, there is some tactical sense in trying to go ahead and identify the rest of the new seven hearts are, because Blessed appear out there, and so in case there are other threats, they probably want to be prepared. And so, and probably using intel from like Isa, whatever, because Isa may have been privy to some info. Riku would go here to identify Moana as one of the new seven hearts. And of course, there was that Keyblade that was shown in the recent trailer at Nintendo Direct. A lot of people believe that Keyblade was for Moana with like the lava attack. I don't think it's the case, but if it is, and story will do it, maybe it's like Riku with his dreamier powers, you know, kind of like could pass that Keyblade on to Sora, or like Sora with his connection powers, he could get it regardless. So yeah, I think Moana be a world mostly for the the whole new Seven Hearts thing. Princess and the Frog. So I think Tiana's one of the new Seven Hearts, and so Riku will go through that whole story, and then identify Tiana as one of the new Seven Hearts, and like we'll like basically he'll, and then like with the intel from Isa, you know, and so we'll see him go here, so that if any when the threats come, they're prepared to protect the princesses as needed. Right. So I think Merida is one of the new Seven Hearts. So I think Riku will go here, go through the story of that movie, identify, Merida is one of the new Seven Hearts with Isa's intel, and then, once when the Lost Masters do their stuff, you know, and the other members of the 13 Darknesses, Guardians of Light will be ready to protect the princesses as needed. Now for the world in Mickey's story. Gala ad Kylam. Now this is mainly due to the images that were shown, with Mickey being playable in what people believe to be this world, and with the portion that takes place after Melody Memory. Obviously, Mickey was said to be going to this world to research unreality, so I think that's what this world will be focused on. Mickey going here and trying to find clues to where Sora could be in unreality and figure out how exactly that realm works. Yeah. And so there gonna be a lot of lore drops here, and it's gonna be where a lot of like the missing link stuff could tie in as well. So some missing links that could be repurposed here, like where Mickey sees something, maybe there's a flashback or whatever. So a lot of lore drops will probably happen here. Disney Town. I mean, this is Mickey's home world. Of course, this will be like a hub world for him, and maybe get the gummy ship upgrade by Chip and Dale. You know, and yeah, so this will be where I think he goes to. Like, there won't be a lot of exploration here. Just be like a small area, probably just a castle. That's the islands with you know, Mickey, Donald, Goofy going to World Sora and been to find Clue's location. Obviously, Destiny Islands would be one of the ones they go to because that's Sora's homeworld. Obviously, they'll go there, and yeah, they'll maybe interact with maybe Sora's friends from like the village. You know, see like how like they react to Sora be missing all the stuff that's happened. You know, with Sora, Riku, and Kairi. The Keyblade Graveyard. I mean, with this being the last spot Sora was at on his journey, of course, before disappearing, you know, like on Destiny Islands. Of course, yes, he traveled to some places with Kyrie, before him, but as far as his big time battle, whatever, that was on Keyblade Graveyard, where a lot of the time traveling took place. And, with it being, a graveyard for Keyblade players, Mickey, Donald, Goofy probably would think it'd be a good idea to check it out. It probably wouldn't be a long level because it's not like there's people, really a lot of people to interact with there. And basically probably be a short level, probably a small map, and I think it'd be It could be an interesting level, just be like just the player character and the party members. So it'd be interesting how like it is with just that, like to probably find some heartless, whoever, and then going. Twilight Town. I mean, Sora, Donald, Goofy, and Jiminy were sleeping here for a year after Chain of Memories to like recover their memory, like their memories were, and so it makes sense Mickey, Donald, Goofy go here, and also with Roxas, Xion, Lee, Isa, Nominate living here, probably in the old mansion. You would see them like probably visiting those characters and like seeing how far they've gotten in what in their efforts. Radiant Garden. I mean, this was an important world in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, so makes sense for Mickey, Donald, Goofy to search this world for clues, and also with Kyrie being there, they probably want to visit Kyrie. Of course, Ansel the Wise, his apprentices, the Rhaegar Restoration Committee. With Maleficent and Pete being here, they be maybe having to fight them at some point. So yeah, and this would be like I'd say a fully playable world, not like a small one like some other ones. Land Departure. Now this will be a small world, not a lot to explore. This would be where Aqua, Terra, and Manchurian live, so Mickey, Donald, Goofy, probably would visit them. And like so with Cham memories with what all happened there, maybe Mickey, Donald, Goofy try to find clues to like Sora's like location there. And you can see Donald and Goofy try to remember what all happened there in Chain of Memories. You know, Mysterious Tower. I mean, this is like the hub world for the Guardians of Light, so it makes sense this would appear at least in cutscenes, if not playable. And if it's playable, it'd be a small area. Like there isn't a lot to explore here. But it's like probably where like they go to like recap stuff with Yin Sid. Toy box. So with Verum Rex, obviously playing a role in Kingdom Hearts 4, it makes sense for this world to appear. So this world thinks Mickey, Donald, and Goofy go to. Now I think they probably go to the real one, not the duplicate one. And they'll see like what's like the toys like you know like how they react to like being back with Andy and all that. Olympus. So with the trailer showing Donald and Goofy in some dark area, they would blue fire. It's hinted that's the underworld, so makes sense they go here. They go here with Sora going to Olympus Coliseum a lot, in all the games. So well, I mean, except for like Dream Drop Distance, like yeah. So I think you know, like I think Mickey Donald go here. Now, why they're there? So I think this would be one of the early worlds for Mickey, Donald, Goofy. So I think Mickey will go there, try to get Hades to verify if Sora is dead, and basically Donald Goofy would probably the reason they're by themselves is like they probably weren't supposed to hear that, and then they overheard it and basically secretly went there and probably get captured by Hades. Then Mickey has to like save them. And like probably with Riku, like Riku and Mickey probably both have to save like Donald and Goofy. So and then deal with the whole Pandora's box thing probably. And so like, and yeah, maybe Mickey, Donald, Goofy do a tournament here. Halloween Town. I mean, this is a world Sora went to in 1 and 2, so they'd be trying to go here. And also with Santa Claus, trying different worlds. Mickey, Donald, Goofy probably want to ask Santa if he has an idea where Sora's at. So of course, Santa wouldn't be able to give an answer. Pride Lands. So, this being the world from Kingdom Hearts 2, with this being involved with Missing Link, this would connect Missing Link stuff to 4. maybe repurpose some stuff like flashbacks or whatever. And if Scar was like quote recompleted and like he could be a villain here, where it's for Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, or for Riku. Like so, Simba being like I guess a party member. And, it could be a fun world. See what Mickey transforms into in Pride Lands, Neverland. So with this world being like from Kingdom Hearts 1, with basically, so I think Mickey, Donald, Goofy will go here. Of course, they'll know how to fly. And I think this will not be just the ship; it'll actually be all of Neverland. So we'll see, like Mickey, Donald, Goofy travel here. Maybe Mickey mentions how his fight with Vanitas there, and they'll try to find clues to like Sora's location. You know, yeah, I mean, and it could probably be a fun world to go to with like Mickey. Now for the DLC, I think will be part of Kingdom Hearts 4 some point after the main game's released. Now for the story of that DLC, I think so. How it'll start is Roxas, Xion, Lee, Aqua, Terra, Vin all get the power waking. So Riku and Mickey basically already have it. Kairi being a Princess of Heart, I think she already has it. And so I think after that, then Naminé will examine Ventus, Roxas, and Shion's hearts for clues on Sora's location. Then Lee and Isa will be trying to find Subject X. And Aqua, Terra, Ven, Chiarthy will be searching the realm of darkness for Sora. And Daring breaks in the realm of light. So Ventus, as I said, would have Naminé search his heart for Sora's location, but I think he would also want Nominate to try to help him recover his lost memories from the age of fairy tales. And you'll see him like struggling with the darkness inside of him, like because like one of the 13 willful darknesses is still there. And then I think Terra will have Nominate examine his memories from his time as Xehanort's vessel to find clues about Subject X. Since his body was the host when Xehanort was experimenting on Subject X, maybe Terra has some memories of Subject X. Maybe gives idea where Subject X is at. And after Riku goes to Quadram, I think Terra will have Dominic examine his memories to find clues about unreality, you know, to coincide with Mickey doing all his stuff. And then Ventus will near the end remember the darkness inside of him, and he then gets possessed, and then he'll attack like Terra like before like fleeing to join like the Lost Masters. And then I think Roxas, Xion, Lee, and Isa will join Mickey at Kylum to find clues on Subject X. With maybe unreality, like some stuff there, provide clues as to like where Subject X is at. And that's it. Did y'all like this video? Did you dislike this video? Do you agree with my like do you agree with my predictions about Kingdom Hearts 4? Do you disagree with my predictions? Do you have your own predictions, like where it's worlds, playable characters, DLC, and all that? You can put all that in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Look forward to the next video.